Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. I hope everyone's having a good day. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. Hope everyone had a good weekend, maybe a nice, restful time. Blessed start to the Advent season. It was nice here at the church. Everything's beginning to look Christmassy in the city, and it's fun. So we're going to be diving back into Loud the Game, apparently. VIII. I did a little fishing off camera because I figured that would just take up time, and because we are very close to the end, and what we're going to try to do today is finish out all the side quests. So we have some gifts to give to folks. In fact, let's take a look at them. We have a gladiator sheath. I wonder who that's for. Engraved pen with the initial T. And a small ruby. I'm not sure who that's actually for. Adol presented Sylvia with the gladiator sheath as a gift. This is. Oh my, what a splendid sheath. The one I had was lost when the ship sank. The size is perfect too. This is very handy, thank you. Your sword is magnificent. This is a knight sword given to me when I won a Colosseum tournament. The Emperor gave it to me personally, so it's a source of pride. My blood is starting to boil, so I'm going to train a little. You should join me. My stomach hurts. Oh, poor boy. Mind telling me if it's pain or nausea? Oh, you don't seem ill to me. Yeah. And the punishment for lying, I'm tripling the amount of training. Ripped grandma. Yeah, she's, I think she's Agatha Christie's cousin or something. Where's Thanatos? We have his pen. Thanatos. It's Cathew. Is Thanatos inside? Ah, yes. Adol presented Thanatos with the engraved pen as a gift. This pen it's terribly faded. It's so hard to tell, but it says Memo. And there's an engraving of my initial, T. No doubt about it. This is the pen I lost when I first arrived on this island. I looked ages for it, to no avail. Thank you, Adol. Seems important.
Let's see.
Well, it's a memorable possession. I bought this pen when I first started my journeys as an explorer. Honestly, it was a selfish purchase at the time, but that's why it motivated me to live up to the pen's value. It cheapens it if I fix it up every time it breaks. What does that mean? It used to say memento mori. Well, that's a good thing to remember. Remember that you must die. Well, it's supposed to motivate you to do your best from the get-go. Now I want to add humor to the engraving somehow. Anyway, as an explorer, I can't just let you leave me in the dust at all. This pen and I still have a lot of work left to do together. Yeah, Thanatos' approval maxed out. Do we get a cutscene? No. Wait, yes. I made some coffee. Would you like some? The world is ending, but yes, let's have a cup of coffee.
Say, Adol, do you know what coffee is?
I've heard about it.
Oh, is that so? So this will be your first time drinking it, huh? I can't wait to see your reaction.
I bet it
Well,
tastes
go
like
on,
dirt.
Try it. Looks like you're not a fan of the taste. Just so you know, coffee's appeal is its bitter flavor. Ricotta can make a fine cup of tea, but every so often, I get a craving for coffee. It's definitely an acquired taste, but the more you drink, the more you'll come to like it.
That sounds like a process.
Coffee is made from beans that grow on a certain tree. A tree that is indigenous to the African continent. That coffee you're drinking is made from beans I acquired years ago.
Thank you for sharing.
You sure perked up once I mentioned Africa. I might have mentioned it before, but I've spent many years researching Africa. I've even set foot in the southern region of the Sahara Desert. Impressive, huh?
These are words
Anyway,
that
I
are
told
very
you
close
that
to our words.
so I could tell you this. Before you can venture into unexplored lands, you need two things: connections and a lot of money. Thankfully,
True
I managed
words.
to secure funding and support from a certain noble associate of mine. 2 years back, we drafted a large-scale plan for an expedition to Africa. But during the early planning stages, I wound up stranded on the Isle of Seyren.
How do you go from planning an expedition in Africa to getting stuck on another island?
The situation seemed hopeless at first. But exploring this island turned out to be much more enjoyable than I expected.
I just
On
had to
top of
avoid
that, meeting
dinosaurs.
Rakota was truly a blessing. At my age, I never expected to meet anyone I would care about so much. I've been running solo all my life, so having someone to look after feels different.
It's called
I know I've
parenting.
said this to you before, but if I get off this island, I want to show Rakota everything the world has to offer. That way, she can be an independent woman. There's a good chance Rakota and I will end up seeing Africa together.
I have a feeling Rakota is already an independent woman.
Who knows? We might even run into you again, Adol. If that day comes, we'll catch up over a cup of coffee.
Just you, me, and Rakota.
Yes, I'm sure she'll have grown into a fine lady by then. So you better not go falling for her, at least not while I'm still alive.
And yes, to some, coffee is very important. Hey, Step Zero, good to see you. You've missed coffee. That's literally it. Someone wants the ruby, and it's a guy because he has a blue ribbon. Ah, there we go.
Adol.
Adult presented Ed with a small ruby as a gift. Is this a ruby? It is very high purity. No, I can't accept it. This is too valuable. It's material for a gift. I don't want... The other option's a little aggressive. Material for a gift. I see. So I should make something with this and then give it to Allison? Haha, all right. Thank you, Adol. This is very nice. I actually haven't given Allison a proper ring yet. It would be great if I could make this into a wedding band. She'll love it. Yeah, I agree. I'll go talk to Oirin right away. Oirin gave instructions. Thank you, Adol. I bet it's best gift for her. Actually, I have a good time in mind for me to spring this on her. When that time comes, I'll let you know. Hope you'll be there. That's, there's a lot in that sentence scale, but I hope you're having fun with it. Okay, there's no cutscene with Ed. Despite the fact that we maxed out his approval, which is nice. Let's go give some fish to a bird. Oh, look. He's visiting the captain, hopefully making amends. Wah. Oh, I got it. Hey, don't worry about Rakata. I'll take good care of her. Gwah. Shubil. Time for food. Yes, yes. You want more. You have an endless stomach. Bitter formula. All right. Oh, we need to make some medicine. That reminds me. Coelacarn. It's a real go-getter fish. It's a coelacanth, not a coelacanth. Yeah, big pearls. So I thought fishing was how you maxed out the approval of Shoebill. Nope, it's just a cutscene at the end. Oh boy, tax dodging. That sounds not like a great thing to do. Yes, I have a new formula.
Hello. Here you go. Please take this. Please come again.
Oh yeah, am I just out of
What do you need?
the flour? Ooh, that's awkward.
Please take
Oh, well.
this. Please take care.
Okay, so we also are in need of finding some pure orichalcum. You find one of those here. No, not there. There in the Stone Pillar Wind Cave. And you find the other two in the final dungeon. And we have some things we can clear out and move. Still need one more person for that. Spoiler alert, there's one more person to find. There's a question mark here. We have to go find Mentor and fight him a couple times. Wait, which way am I going? Okay. Not along the tree. Ow. I thought I could just run past the dinosaur, but the dinosaur had other plans. I don't want to fight you. I want to fight the giant monkey.
Looks like a good fishing spot.
What's your prayer request, Sub-Zero? I'll be happy to keep you in my prayers. Absolutely. Prayers for all. Ow. Probably a fine time to do this. Ow. a very hard attack to aim, actually. Get out of there. We have defeated Monkey. Guess I won. I'd like to try out that technique he used. Hummel learned Assault Rain. Seems handy. Master says the next one will be the last. Come to the ridge with a great view. Only one person left. Okay, then. I don't remember who's left. Let's... Okay, not Baja Tower. Let's go here. I bet that's the chest we need. Considering it's the only chest left in there.
Come on.
I don't think we had double jump when we were here last. It's been a while. This is where we took the egg for the nest. That Hummel was like, oh, this egg needs a place to go.
Come on.
Nope. Oh, I accidentally almost rolled off the edge there. That would have been bad. Okay, I want to roll into this wall. So because the problem is roll and hold. You hold roll to run.
Treasure chest.
Are you serious? I made it, and then I just missed at the very end.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
So last time we were playing this, a lot happened in the plot. We learned that the Great Tree is in fact the catalyst for evolution in this world. Kind of like the monolith. Saint Ring. That is not what I thought I was. Maybe we... Did we already get the pure orichalcum? Orichalcum ore. Oh, yes. I think we did. I think that's what kicked it off, so we need to find another piece of it. We also found out that Donna is a warden of evolution, meaning she's the last of her species that gets to survive. But then Adol is also now one of the wardens of evolution, and the Lacrimosa, as they call it, which is the apocalypse, is occurring. So it's up to us to find a way to stop the Lacrimosa, and Donna put herself to sleep for 1,000 years, or longer. I forget the exact amount. Because she was like, well, I'm not going to be able to stop this by myself, but this Adol guy seems pretty cool. Yes. Request help, please.
All right, let's clean it up.
Yes.
I appreciate your cooperation.
What a surprisingly empty room. Dense formula. I don't get it. While we're here, we need to finish this map out. We haven't actually explored the whole area where the giant squid was. Do I have... No, I don't have that equipped. Why don't I have that equipped? If you don't get it, the formula is working. What was the old SpongeBob thing? Formuloni, Formuloni, give me the secret Formuloni. There, now we've 100% the Archaeozoic Chasm. So there's a question mark here that we need to check out. And then there's some other question marks and the side quests with the wine.
Something's there.
Nope, 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 nope. Don't have time for you. I have side quests. I know I mentioned it almost every episode, but dang, this game's soundtrack slaps. Ah, this is our last monkey fight. Master says, "Your last, red hair." Yes. Adol is ready to fight the monkey. Finally. So we're level 62, he's 60. So we're higher level than he is. So this should... And given that Adol is our main character, we've been giving him all the buffs. Oh yeah, this is gonna go real easy. I wonder who's going to talk for Adol, because everyone else has been like, I'll use the technique I learned from him. But Adol doesn't speak except for when from the speech prompts. We have defeated Monkey. 6 times. It seems the match is over. Adol, try out Master's skill. Yeah, that seems useful. Adol learned Brave Charge. Thank you for teaching me. Master says, I didn't teach you, you learned it on your own. I'm sure he's just being modest. Gahaha, no kidding. It seems the 6 of us have each had to learn a skill from him. What's wrong? Master? I have nothing. I don't know why I was doing that voice for Ricotta. I have nothing left to teach you. But Ricotta's mentor tells me that your village is in trouble a lot. If you want, I can help you. Really, Master? Help us? Does that mean you'll join us during beast raids? Gahaha, that'd be great. Yes, you're more than qualified. Don't you agree, Adol? Why couldn't you have joined sooner? Then it's settled. I'll head to your village now. Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, basically. He's offered us more help than I ever expected. One master is worth 100, no 1,000 warriors. Kong's approval is maxed out. Kong will support you during raids. Run! Okay, so we've not quite explored everything here. That's right, because we were having a hard time getting up to there. And I wonder if it's because I just forgot to have the grip gloves equipped. Is that the last person we need?
I can catch a lot.
I don't know if Kong counts. No, there's an actual human person. He doesn't count as a villager. Which is weird because Pero does. For the record, Taro is the parrot. A very creative name. Oh, that's a big thing. I'm going the wrong direction. I'm just going to teleport back. I think the last person we need is up here in the upper part of these tree mushroom things. Yeah, Monkey would make a lot of things easier on the island. Like, why can't he be a party member? Shoot, I forgot. I can take the Slay Undead bell off. He can't fit through the dungeon doors. I mean, fair enough, I guess. Maybe. It's as good enough a reason as any other, I suppose. But that can't be true.
Come on.
Yeah, I didn't have the gloves equipped last time we were trying this. You could block them from intruders. Yeah, but we've established that all the dungeons are Eternian ruins, and Eternians were like 8 feet tall, except for Donna. Donna was fun-sized Eternian. New location discovered. Sky Garden.
Nice place.
Is the person we're looking for Jack? Jack Sparrow?
Feels great here.
Yay, for the last piece of fermented sap that we need. Oh, top of the beanstalk, Jack.
I bet I can catch a lot.
No, but we can fish. And I like that the water up here is so much clearer than the water down below. I think that's just a nice little visual touch. Oh, that's a big one.
Feels like a big one.
Adol, I already said that.
Feels like a big one.
So how's everyone's advent starting off? Got a devotional picked out. We just gave one out at the parish. I also received a copy of Walter Casper's Advent Reflections. I'm very excited to read that. I like Walter Casper. And not very bright, just one candle. Fair enough. Oh no, we got a hernia. Adol, quick, go see the doctor. Wait. So... how do we get up there? Because that's not... I thought this was going to be, like, connected or something. Who needs doctors? Just eat fruit until you heal. I mean... something, don't use video games as literal facts? And I suppose if you're eating an apple a day, you are keeping the doctor away. Okay, what's this question mark? What's going on here? Oh, the water is flowing. This place is rather calm. Yes, it is. Does it remind you of something? No, it's just, even though we're able to solve all these small immediate problems, none of them will actually matter if we fail to stop the Lacrimosa. Ah, you're having existential dread. True, we may only be able to affect change on a small scale, but even small changes can have a drastic effect in the course of history. Yeah, isn't that why we're making your changes, Donna? The same goes for us. We're doing all we can because we're not giving up. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, I just got a little discouraged. Second Amendment keeps many people away. Fair, but unhelpful? You can't eat the Second Amendment. I don't think this is... I made it this far with all of you, so I don't think my actions were in vain. As long as you're with me, we'll face whatever awaits us together, no matter what. Yeah! When you stare at the void, just begin yelling back. So where are we? Aha! Eternal Hill. This is the last main area we have not been because the main quest... we need to come down... well, yeah. Anyway, into that area to get to the garden again.
Oh, somebody's there. That's one of the most
Let's... I guess it doesn't matter. Never mind.
This area seems slightly different from the others.
El de Pronto. Nope, 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 nope.
There's something there.
Rotida. And it wasn't even from step 0. What is this?
Really pretty.
I mean, I think it all worked out with the Normans conquering England. It just gave us a really messed up language. Hello, person. Is it possible? Were you passengers aboard the Lombardia? Oh, you absolutely can learn, kid. It's almost it's like 99% of the time it's step 0, so it's just like, whoa. Are you a nobility by chance? It's been a while, Griselda. I assume he met her in a previous game. Likewise, Adol Kristen. I'm impressed you still remember me. Those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Griselda. I am the Governor General of Kelsida. I am surprised that you and I are aboard the same ship. Governor General of Kelsida? Why does she look so familiar? The Governor General of Kelsida is known for being a shrewd and decisive leader. For some reason, I never imagined them being a woman. Governor General? What's that? It means she's some kind of big shot in the Roman Empire. She's very beautiful. Griselda. Allow me the courtesy of reintroducing myself.
My name's Griselda. On this island, my title means nothing. Please treat me as you would any other castaway.
Forgive my impertinence, but have we met before? Oh? You bear a striking resemblance to a princess I met at the Imperial capital. A princess? What an amusing anecdote. Why would a princess claim to be the Governor General of Kilsida and live a life of a castaway on this island? You'd sooner see a golden pickard than something that outlandish. Wouldn't you agree at all? I see. I'm sorry for my presumption then. Gahaha, must have mistaken her for someone else, I guess. So what's the Governor General of Kilsida doing aboard Lombardia?
Yes.
I was returning from completing a routine inspection. I never thought I would find myself here, cast adrift on the Isle of Siren. I must say, I'm surprised to find the ruins of this lost civilization on this island. After meeting Adol, I find myself more frequently indulging my curiosities. I've been on my fair share of adventures over the last 3 years, you see. Wow. I'm glad you haven't been harmed while you've been out here alone. Yes, well, I'm skilled enough with the sword, and I'm capable of defending myself. Anyway, you seem to have a good grasp on the situation on this island. Would you mind briefing me? Adol filled her in on all the crazy things. I see. The situation sounds more dire than I could have imagined. I imagine having more allies would be an asset to you during your future beast raids. I will join you at Castaway Village. Yay! Anyway, in Rotterdam, to get back to that, sorry for the delay. Today is the feast of St. John Damascene, also known as St. John of Damascus. Legend belt. He is a very important figure for the continued practice of icons, actually. So, painted images used in the reverence of saints and God. One of the reasons was the empire, the Byzantine Eastern Roman Empire was very iconoclastic, meaning they were against icons at the time. And there we go, that's everything there. So let's go over here and open this up. But he lived in the Umayyad Caliphate, so he could write without fear of censorship, essentially. And so his theological reasoning was able to be preserved and promulgated throughout the Caliphate, the Christians of the Caliphate. And so when the Second Ecumenical Council of Nicaea, which was the last of the 7 ecumenical councils, his writings were presented as a major source, arguing in favor of icons as presented by the Empress at the time. We're going the wrong direction. So, speaking of small actions having a big impact, this guy may not have thought that his writings at the time would have changed the whole face of the life of the church on an international scale across hundreds of years. But he has many other wonderful, beautiful writings. I think this is the last side quest thing we really can do until we get the Orichalcum. This is Orichalcum. Yes, request help. Now that we have all 24 people of the village. You're most welcome. Wow, an actual cutscene. Looks like we're all here. I gotta say, it feels like we've become one big happy family almost overnight. Together we can do anything.
Yes.
And now we have so many competent experts among us. Gahaha, that's why we're clearing this gravel is gonna be a breeze. This gravel is more compact than it looks. Good thing I brought a heavy-duty shovel for just such an occasion. Let's take it for a spin. Hahaha, this will be excellent training. It's gonna be tough if any speedy primordials suddenly show up. I think Ricotta and Rhea should keep an eye out. No problem, leave it to us. If anyone gets thirsty, let me know. I have great flash sale on fruit juice while supplies last. Of course you're having a sale. Oh, with so many people, we should finish this in about 2 hours. That means we'll finish around noon, just in time for lunch. Everyone is so helpful. Keep up the teamwork. Oh, just leave it to me. All right, everyone. Time to get to work. And so the castaways began clearing the densely packed pile of heavy gravel. With the wind and rain helping to loosen the pile, they managed to clear it in no time flat. What rain?
Thanks.
All right, what's inside? Ooh, Silent Tower. I think this is actually where we get one of the... I think I was wrong. It wasn't the stone tower. It's the Silent Tower where we get the pure talcum. This is perfect. It's so dark. Wait, I have a thing for that. There we go. Well, it's not the Silent Tower anymore. I'll say that much. It's not the Library Tower, after all. I mean, I guess technically the Baja Tower was the library. We weren't terribly quiet there either. I think Adol's just bad at being quiet. Which is funny, because in the next game he has to do a ton of sneaking around. Ow. Ow.
I can keep going.
Bye-bye, giant dude. Oh, look, there's more of them.
It's quite dilapidated. What is the purpose of this tower? There should be a workshop that royals used to patronize in this neighborhood.
There's also a secret boss in
Might be
here.
worth searching in case there's anything we can still use.
I am not going to be fighting the secret boss. Ah! No, we're just going to use that revive medicine.
I can keep going.
The purpose of this dungeon is to be used for exploring in a JRPG. Fair enough. Pure orichalcum. Let's go. The way up. So the way down is over this way. Because we do want to explore this dungeon 100%, because, again, 100 times. I can talk. 100% of the map is helpful towards the end goal.
Leveled up?
That's a big fella.
I chose the wrong way. There's a treasure chest on the other side. Unless this goes down back up. Yes, it does.
A treasure chest.
Ooh, Tempest Elixir. That's just a free level. I'm going to hang on to that, because we can use that to heal at all here in a moment if we need. Why did the Eternians make unicorn robots? They never saw a horse.
A treasure chest.
Yeah, there's the optional boss. Don't think it activates unless you attack it.
Oh, something.
So we're going to hope that's the case.
So lucky.
All right. Wait, we missed a treasure. Where did we miss a treasure? Oh, maybe it's just from the... You know what? We're just going to go back to the base, because we got some wine to make. Because Oirin wanted that sap. Oh, you're Thanatos. Wait, yeah, no, we want you to... give the wine to? Excuse me, Adel. Would you like to have some tea with us? Oh, sure, you two. You lovely couple, you.
How does it taste?
I've had
Dakota
coffee,
taught
I've
me how
had
to make
tea.
it.
It's good.
Yeah.
You think so? Oh, that's a relief.
Good job, darling.
I know you delivered the baby safe and sound, but you should still rest. You're already taking care of the baby. Let me...
Oh, whoops.
Thank you. But I'm actually feeling much better these days. Oh, my ring? Ed gave it to me the other night, beneath the beautiful light of the twin moons.
I was reminded of the night that we first met, so it just seemed like the perfect time to give it to her.
Aw, how romantic.
Yes, it was such a special moment. By the way, I heard that you found the ruby for this ring, Adol. Thank you very much.
Luke seems happy too.
Aw.
I can't believe how much you've done for us, Adol. If it wasn't for you, the three of us wouldn't even be here right now. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, you really are our hero. If we ever get off this island, and you happen to be in Greek, please, pay us a visit whenever you have time. I'll prepare you the best set of adventuring gear.
I wonder how big our little one will be by then. I hope we meet again someday.
Gonna hold you to that promise. I could use some adventuring gear. So does the baby count? No, the baby does not count. Cathio, I have your fermented sap. Adol, don't tell me you actually found it. Oh, thank you. Now we can have a proper ceremonial luncheon. All right, I'll get what we need. I just need everything to get ready. Adol, go and tell the others, would you? Baby Luke counts in the other category on the list, along with like Master and Shoebill. And so a ceremonial launching was held at Castaway Village. Everyone was so excited to participate. The launching went off without a hitch. The big guy didn't steal the boat this time. With the pouring of fermented sap on the ship's hull, the launching was complete. Sploosh. We have christened the boat. I name it Boat. Oh! A ship. Finally. This isn't a dream, is it? We're really gonna leave soon? Yes. We just got to tough this out a little while longer. I feel like I can work even harder now. Same here. This whole thing has me feeling reinvigorated. Yeah, we're almost there. Let's keep our heads high, everyone. Yeah! Wow, that went really well. This is a critical moment. Yeah, you're right. We have to hold fast, or this will all be for nothing. We'll definitely make it through this. Thank you for your help, Adol. I finally fulfilled my duty as a member of the Lombardia's crew. I'm sure it won't be long now.
Right.
Please keep watching over us, Captain.
We did it!
Kathy's approval increased. Do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, video games do have an interesting definition of 100%, and then some video games have even weirder definitions where they have it 100%, and then people... Man, this stuff is amazing. Just look at how it shines. A great example is the original Symphony of the Night. It has like a 206% completion rate you can achieve, because there's 100% for the original castle, 100% for the inverted castle, and then an additional 6% for areas of the game you're not supposed to get to, like dev areas that were left behind. Man, this stuff looks amazing. Just look how it shines. This is pure orichalcum, all right. Exactly what I thought. I'm really impressed you found this. Really, I can't thank you enough. I better get to work right away. Still, I can't afford to do a rush job now when the ultimate armor is on the line. Also, I need to know before I start whether this is for a man or a woman. Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be for me. You can get 3, 1 for each person in your party, essentially. It's not a spare castle, it's the real castle. Yep, the right side up castle is the spare castle. You should always give 100% unless you're giving blood. Armorized Smith and Scratch is using pure orichalcum. Here, it's yours now. Shining Kronos. That's a cool name. It's a reference to Grecian mythology. Since we're on the Isle of Siren and all, it took a lot of effort, but great armor needs a great name, you know? With this, I feel my skill is a little closer to my grandfather's now. Don't go knocking the bronze, it got us through the Bronze Age. I might have told you this already, but my last name is Lambert. My family is known for the master blacksmiths who make weapons for the Roman Emperor himself. My grandfather was the most skilled in the whole family. My parents died when I was young, so he ended up raising me and becoming my role model. Even in my earliest memories, I'm still gripping a hammer. It was a tough living, to be sure, but he ended up accepting me as his successor. Even so, no matter how many swords I smith, it always feels like there was something missing. I couldn't figure out what it was. I just knew it bugged the hell out of me. Only now, having smithed this orichalcum armor, do I realize what's missing. The reason why I'll never be like my grandfather. All my life, I've just been mimicking his techniques. It's obvious in hindsight, but I was missing something essential. I never answered the question, what do I want to do? From now on, I'm going to work hard to find the answer to that question. That being said, I think I'm on the cusp of finding it. I believe in you. Hey, everyone has their breakthroughs when they happen. I hope I make you proud then. Strange, hearing you say that makes me feel like I can really do this. I didn't mean to keep you here this long. Anyway, if you bring me the materials, I can make as many sets of armor as you need. Come see us when you find more orichalcum.
We did it!
Yeah, Kathleen's approval maxed out. Woo! Yeah, it all got a minute. And that is all the side quests done.
Gotta hand it to you, Adol. Your swordsmanship has come a long way since you washed up on this island.
I have you to thank for that.
Huh. Feels sorta nice to be complimented by a swordsman of your caliber. I keep asking myself, what do I want to do? So I can one day step out of my grandfather's shadow. I told you earlier that I didn't have an answer yet.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes ago.
I think I finally figured it out. I want to forge weapons for people like you, Adol. People who cut paths of hope for us all. That's the passion I feel within me. Look, I know it sounds really simple.
Cut paths of hope. I like that.
But my experiences on this island have helped me understand what that passion actually means.
Glad I could help.
I'm happy to hear that. Someday I will make a name for myself as a Lambert on my own terms. At last, I can carry out my own will. That's what my grandfather wanted for me. Knowing that, Adol, I want you to do something for me. Someday, perhaps during your next adventure, if you happen to find yourself in Rom, I want you to visit the Lambert Forge. I'll personally forge the sword that best represents the man you've become.
I look forward to that day.
As do I. Until then, I promise to work hard and become an even better blacksmith than I am now.
Yay!
How can I help you today?
Speaking of making things better, can
Leave
you
it to me.
increase my weapons? Thanks. The sword that will
Alright,
pierce the head.
finished.
Oh, wait, no, wrong franchise.
I'll get started. All right, finished. Leave it to me. Whew, it's complete. All right.
Okay, so let's take a look at our journal here for people. See, oh no, I guess Luke is listed as Castaway, but he doesn't help with the Ricotta, I'm missing something. Donna, I'm missing something, but I think that's to come. Max. Not quite Max. I need something else for Licht, like a gift. Need something for her. Need something for him. Need something for Sir Carlin. Griselda just got here. But if we go over to this, our reputation is 186. We need like 4 more. They do look a lot like WoW weapons. We need like 4 more friendship points, and we can have the access to the final boss.
Hey, welcome!
Okay, there's no
done
items
already?
there. No gifts there. No gifts there. How are we on our map overall? 93.339%. So basically the last area is just in there. I just want to make sure everything's explored as much as we can. Somehow part of the Nameless Coast is not yet explored. What is this? Where is it? There it is. Right there. Yes, come join the Discord if you haven't. We're actually doing a giveaway over there. If you post in the general chat what you want for Christmas, you get entered into a drawing for the Blessed Halo 2023 Christmas ornament. There we go. Now that's 100%. That should have been done forever ago. Yes, that drawing will be happening this Thursday, the day after St. Patrick's. Ah, brain. Good job. St. Nicholas Day. I don't have anything I can give you. Okay, new formula. Nice. Defense elixir.
What do you need?
Yeah, we have 5 revive medicines. I think that'll be enough.
There you go. Please take care.
Which one do you want?
Well, that doesn't
Well,
do
come
what I...
again.
Yes, they go on Giving Tuesday very quickly. Yeah, there's no quests. Just shy of just looking in literally every chest we haven't opened, which is few and far between. I think really the only thing left is to just keep going on the plot. So... let's do that. I hope we get enough reputation points for the secret boss. Hope we haven't missed it somehow.
Whoa, this place is amazing.
Oh, I remember. Yep. Okay. No, we should be fine. There's a lot to explore in this last area. It looks tiny, but you'll see. Plot happens. Saren Garden. This is the magic tree that's going to fight the other magic tree to
It's
stop
same
out
place
the
from Donna's memories.
apocalypse.
What a relief. The prayer tree was able to protect Saren Garden after all.
This place is beautiful!
Yes, but the Tree of Psyches is...
It seems much bigger than when we saw it in your memories.
Let's examine it.
Hello, magic tree. Are you a good magic tree, unlike the other magic tree that turned out to be evil? How's it doing? Not good. It didn't work. The tree has continued to grow since my era, and while it has grown in power, it seems that the number of psyches still isn't enough. I'm sorry I got your hopes up, everyone. Is there another way? I don't know. Well, we gotta try something. I've read about this in a book. Just give the tree more fertilizer, then it'll grow. In which case, more fertilizer would mean more psyches. If that were possible, Donna wouldn't have needed to work so hard. It'll be the Flora Thunderdrome. Yeah, it will. What should we do, Adol? My head's no use for this sort of thing. Oh, here comes the other Wardens of Evolution. What up, nerds? The Wardens.
What?
Well, what's going on here? This place should have been destroyed by the tectonic shifts that predated the human era. This is her doing, no doubt.
Ah,
No matter, restoring the garden was an exercise in futility. Aura also looks like Sarai, the queen. There's weirdness afoot here. So you've regained your memories. Adol, you and your companions may rest easy. As I said before, we are merely observing you. You have my word that we will not cause harm to you or this place.
Your word.
I think we can trust them. Are you sure? Yes, they said the same thing to me in my era. Their duty is just to observe. Tell us about this place. About Saren Garden? I thought you knew what it was. Why else would you be here? We learned that you're the creator of the Saren Garden. Why would a Warden of Evolution create a means of defying the Great Tree? I understand now. You are sharing Donna's memories among yourselves. Surely you know what makes someone worthy of being chosen to become a Warden. Only the brightest souls among the species is worthy to be chosen. Correct. Which is why I tried to do exactly what Donna is attempting. I defied the Lacrimosa in hopes of saving my people. Did you do all that? Yes. Though our species and eras differ, that one commonality runs through us all. I extensively researched the Lacrimosa, forgoing food and sleep in hopes of saving my people. I discovered that it could be stopped, but only by amassing a vast number of psyches. Thus did I use all my knowledge and power to build Saren Garden. Even so, the psyches I amassed in my era were too few in number. And so, having done all I could, I watched my world die. My word!
I too tried to save my world, using the same means as my compatriot here. But the outcome was no different. The span of time required to amass the number of psyches needed is beyond your reckoning. I don't get it. Why'd you even become wardens in the first place?
Our families and loved ones were taken from us. Can you imagine what it feels like to be the last living member of your species? Only the omnipotent might of a god could unleash the heaven's wrath upon Eternia. Faced with the power of the Lacrimosa, all we could do was succumb to despair. When psyches succumb to despair, they are captured by the Great Tree of Origins. By this process, the Great Tree creates new Wardens of Evolution. But if that's true, then you of all people should understand the situation we now find ourselves in. If there's even a chance of preventing the Lacrimosa, no matter how small, then we... You have my sympathies, but please, do not misunderstand me. Huh? I have since come to accept the necessity of the Lacrimosa. As a warden, I have witnessed this world's iterations for a long time. Stagnations and deformations accumulate as long as a single species continues to claim unabated dominion over the Earth. The species must be refreshed periodically to maintain the integrity of the Earth. There is no reason why you humans should be the exception to this rule. Oh, not giving up now. Perhaps it's selfish of us to feel this way, but we can't surrender the memories we've made together here in the present, nor can we surrender the dreams we've entrusted to the future. It would seem that there are others whose souls are as bright as Adol's. I also selfishly defied the Lacrimosa until the very end. Your sentiment is not lost on me. Adol, would you not have been chosen to become a warden if you were the type to give up now? This too must be the will of the Great Tree. The more hope you have, the more despair is created when that hope is finally crushed. Let's allow Adol to do as he pleases. It may hasten both his and Donna's ascension into our fold. I'm sure the Great Tree is eager to welcome back its disgraced daughter. So be it. We will provide you with as much advice as we are permitted. Really? Yes. Please listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. If you wish to defy the Lacrimosa, then you must grow the tree.
But I thought it didn't have enough psyches. How are we supposed to...
The psyches flow here belong to those who lived before the Lacrimosa appeared. The innumerable psyches of those who faced rejection are contained within the Great Tree. Should you release those psyches from the Great Tree, the number of psyches flowing into here would increase and cause the tree to grow. How do we release the psyches from the Great Tree? I'll go get an axe. I will explain that process in greater detail once you arrive. Adol, can you make your way to the Great Tree of Origins? Sure. Anything which does not fit into the plan is part of the plan secretly and have full of the ways with the big tree. That's uniquely unhelpful. We'll be waiting for you at the great tree. Make sure to come fully prepared so you can face what lies ahead without regret. It's secretly part of the plan. That's called Gnosticism. The nerve of him. The Lacrimosa is the law of the land. They've been observing it for a long time, so I understand why they might be skeptical. Giant flashing final dungeon warning. Yep. But we're not turning back. Yeah, if we don't do anything, the world's gonna end. Much as I'd love to walk away from this, we gotta do what we love. We gotta do what we gotta do. Let's go, Adol. This is the weirdest form of Pascal's wager I've ever seen. Oh, right, this room. Being like, the tree is evil! Oh, look, there's the fog again. They told us to come to the great tree, but what do we do about the fog? We couldn't get around through it before. Pascal's wager, but make it really terrible cyberpunk. What the? It's inviting us inside. Fine by me. Ready at all.
Emergency! Emergency!
Wow, that is some timing, Pero. Just...
Many from Mount...
Oh, wrong.
Many primordials!
Timing, Pero. This is good. Because this raid will actually give us some approval rating, which we need. Gonna just give out all a level now. Dogi. Dogi, where are you? Let's fortify this village. Yeah, Adol doesn't have to fight. If he wanted to, he'd be like, whatever, I got immortality now.
All finished.
Yes, Giant Ape will be in this fight. But Adol, being the good person that he is like, no, I'm gonna fight.
All finished. All right then.
Let's begin this raid. Level 70. Ooh.
Okay, let's start this!
But fortunately, whenever you do a raid, the bonuses that everyone else is giving you go a long way. Possibly overkill, but you get bonus points for using that. So I figure using it earlier lets it recharge for other... Because there's 4 waves. And so for each wave we can use it in, you get bonus points. There's open fire and I need to reload. I suppose?
I'll protect my family.
Ooh, I got a flashcard. That's bonus points too. That's nice. side quest, my gun is jammed. Oh, I think they're doing fine. Not bad, not bad. Everything's still intact.
I shall reward you.
Master Kong.
All right, let's do this.
Battle report! Battle report!
I'm coming.
Doggy Squad doing bad! Doggy Squad doing bad!
What, the wave just started?
Let's give it our all.
Battle report! Battle report!
Get up.
On my way! Doggy Squad going
Excuse me? Move. At all. There we go.
Situation report! Situation report!
Let me help you.
They're all over the place, and my team's AI is as good as their AI. Say, not great. Ah, they took down one of the lures. Oh, Doggy Squad is doing fine. It's barely in favor of the monsters over there. That's a big one. Dictiodoaduus. That name is a mouthful. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Actually, it was Adol with a sword.
Don't underestimate me. Here's a little gift for the beast.
It's the big one. Unleash the anime. Yep. Just wait until we get to that final boss. I'm gonna unleash so much anime on him. Ooh, we lost a lot of infrastructure there. And we didn't get the eradication point. Ooh, we only killed slightly over half the things. Ooh, not great.
Huh. How impressive.
Battle report! Battle report!
There's even
Doggy
more.
Squad going smooth!
Echo. Melody of healing.
That's helpful.
All right, let's start fixing it.
At least anime on multiple of them.
Doggy Squad even! Hope this hits!
This is such a cacophonous mess.
Doggy Squad going smooth!
We need some serious area denial here. The sword is good, but you can only hit a few at a time. Yeah.
I'm on my way.
I did not say you can rearrange my furniture on this mountaintop. Ooh. I'm so glad we have like the regen abilities. That's so helpful. Good job, Grandma. Okay, we got eradication there. That's pretty good.
Situation report! Situation report!
Oh, I am awesome!
You're better than Monkey.
Not bad.
Everyone, just a little longer.
The battle's only just begun.
Yes.
Everyone, get
Okay, we just need to defeat this giant one.
Bad! Yogi Squad doing bad! I can play this!
Gigantyrannus. No, they're not. All the anime.
Yogi Squad doing better!
Heckin' Chonker Tyrant Lizard. Yep. Heckin' Chonk and Tyrant Lizard no more. Ring the gong of success.
Oh, I am awesome!
Good! Good!
Hey, we did it!
Yeah, great job!
What a great job.
Hey! We got an A.
That's impressive.
Ooh, they got an S. Very nicely done, team. Ooh, golden emblem. There's a thing for someone. Oh, hey. Yeah, I was thinking of drinking that liquor you gave me the other day. You should join me. I got us pumped up before the fight. A thing for someone. Could you be more specific? No.
Woo! That'll put some hair on your chest. Man, that bird.
That's good because you have none.
Haven't felt that in a long time.
Yeah, that's how I look at people when they tell me how good scotch is after it burns.
I'm good, man. Don't worry about me. You eat as much as you want.
Oh no.
Still,
I think Doggy's had too much.
Go, this one definitely takes the cake. You think you'll ever stop getting us roped into trouble all the time?
No. I don't know, ask God.
Oh man, I guess there's no cure for being an adventure addict.
That's a great response. I don't know, ask God.
Anyway, you just leave the village to me. I'll make sure it's still standing when you guys come back. Speaking of which, it's not like I'm really worried about it or anything, but you are coming back, right?
But of course.
I know we're not strangers to danger, but I'm legitimately worried this time. I mean, the Lacrimosa might just be the craziest thing you've ever had to deal with. I'm just saying, I got this weird feeling you might not come back from this one.
Don't worry, I'll stop the Lacrimosa.
Okay then. Damn, Adol. Doesn't matter what's going on. You always pull through in the end. Oh well. It's not like I expected anything less from you. Whatever happens, you know I got your back all the way.
Yeah.
But you gotta promise that you'll drink with me when you come back, alright? I
course.
intend to drink till my teeth start floating. So you better be ready.
That's not a thing, Dogi. Okay. The thing that we got for the person to be slightly more helpful. Golden emblem. A gorgeous solid gold emblem. Our reputation is now 191, which I think should be enough. So, who does not... Maybe it's... No, it's not Griselda because it's a man. Maybe it's Sir Carlin? Sir Carlin or Cathew? Or Licked? Well, my teeth are floating usually means in desperate need. I didn't know that was an actual phrase. That's a terrible phrase. Oh, we've discovered all location points. Oh, so what? Such wonders you've discovered. This is splendid. You truly live up to the title of adventurer. And once I gazed upon the wonders myself, I can paint the loveliest of abstract paintings. Inspiration. Perhaps a poem instead. No, it's lower on the... That's the original version. On the re-releases, it's lower. What's that then? Why don't I simply paint the landscapes? You simply don't understand high art. What point would it serve to merely attempt to recreate what already exists? Art is about creativity, innovation. And innovation, never mind. Don't get me started. And indeed, I may never stop. Best I not get into it. Well, Yize is Lacrimosa of Donna, but it's generally... But that was the original PSP release. For the PS4 and the Switch re-release, they lowered some of the requirements to make it a little easier. Anyway, now, as to the matter of recompense for your hard work, sir, I'll pay you an exposure. I did recently happen across something which might be worthy of note. It may merely look like an old book, but I suspect it may be of some use to you. Power formula! Now then, we shall meet again. Safe journeys. Now, everyone's happy and it has cutscenes for us. Oh, you found a new formula? Power elixir.
What do you need? Please take care.
Okay. It's not Oirin, because... Let's see if it's Cathew. Nope. Because it'll give you a prompt. And we now have a night hunt to do as well. The never-ending raid, though, you don't have to do, because it's literally just, see how long... no, it's more than 150. That's... I thought. If it is just 150, that's ridiculous. Or 196, yeah, no one can agree. That's part of the problem. Oh, we have a quest from Donna now. Oh, Adol. I was lost in thought. Don't worry, it wasn't anything important. Tell me about it. Very well, I suppose I can share this with you. I was thinking about Olga. I wasn't there for her during the final moments. At the time, I was desperately trying to save what few people remained in the world, so we didn't have many opportunities to talk as we used to. You never cease to amaze me, traveling to the southern nations alone, all because you wanted to help the people there. How could I lose heart after hearing that? While I was researching Eternian lore, I came across a figure known as the Bluebird. For some reason, looking at you reminds me of the time I spent studying it. If I'm ever in trouble, I know where I'll place my faith. And that was the last thing Olga ever said to me. I wonder what she was trying to tell me. I still think about it to this day. One thing was clear, though. Olga is dead, and I feel sad. Really, I just feel alone. Let's find out what her last words meant, then. But it happened so long ago, there's no point in searching for answers now. We can time travel. We've established that. Adol, thank you. In that case, the time Olga was studying the myths of the lore of various locations, might be able to find clues at the temple about what she was studying. Oh, one beat on the Vita version. Interesting. Yes, if you're with me, I'm sure we can figure this out. Thank you, Adol. Let's get to the temple where the Great Tree of Time. Anyway, I still have some quests and things that will increase reputation as well as figuring out who wants this gift. Oh wow, there's a lot of extra. Just when I thought we were done, I seriously was hoping to just wrap up all the side quests today. Oh well. Let's do some cutscenes. So let's me rest my voice. I'm thinking next week I'm going to do like an extra long stream just to finish this game off. Because we are very close. Once we finish all this side quest stuff.
How curious. Should we succeed in stopping the Lacrimosa, we will still leave this village regardless. We made this village together. It's bittersweet, that's all.
It's hard to leave it all behind.
So you feel the same as I do? Come to think of it, quite a lot has happened between you and I. When we first arrived here, I was unkind to you due to my feelings toward my father and house.
You slapped me.
Perhaps I was afraid of losing my status and honor as a noble. After all, that's the last thing my father left me. But everyone I've met on this island, they're all so different, and yet they're able to live their lives with such vigor and confidence. I was so preoccupied by my fears, I didn't realize the others were saving me until it had already happened. But I understand now. No matter what circumstances may befall a person, they can still live on with pride. That's why I wanted to properly thank you.
Both of these seem rude.
Sometimes you make jokes that seem completely out of character for you.
Well, I'm forced into those options.
My word. I just wanted you to know how grateful I am so I don't have any regrets later.
The illusion of choice.
Not to say that my feelings for you are limited to gratitude. Never. Now then, Dogi and the others are keeping the village safe, and we must fulfill our duties too. Let's fight with all our might until the very end, Hadal.
I'm curious if watching these cutscenes increases your reputation. It does, because now our reputation is 198. Going out to sea. I want to see the sea.
Many primordials, many primordials. I'm fed up, at all fed up.
So am I, Pero.
Thank you. No, thank you very much. I'll keep an eye out. You guys do your best. Being warden hard.
Donna's having a harder time.
You guys are here now. Donna is happy. dream. Dream of you guys. But dreams must end. What happens to the dream?
You have dreams too?
I like Adol. I like him a lot. Keep it up, Adol. I'll watch. I'll cheer.
So we were at 198. Now we're at 200. We are at 200. I'm going to say that's good enough. I'm not going to do the rest of these side quests. It's never ending. I will save. Yeah, if high assessments were 200, we absolutely should be fine. But I do want to figure out who wants this. No, I didn't actually want to see your cutscene. Okay, we're going to watch this. He's part of the party. We'll watch this cutscene. I want to figure out who wanted the buckle.
What's wrong? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to worry you. Transporters should never reveal their civilian identity. But you have helped me greatly, so I figured you should know how I got into this line of work. The Tribaldo family have operated as transporters in society's underbelly for generations. For that reason, some consider my family to be inheritors of a dark legacy. And I've always resented my father for choosing to continue that legacy.
But don't you?
One day, when I was barely 10 years old, my father and I got into a fight, and I ran away from home. I was young and had nowhere to go, so I ended up living on the streets. I was out there, shivering in the cold, when an elderly couple found me. They ran a small orphanage and took me in. There were lots of kids from different walks of life at the orphanage. New kids, myself included, could only see despair in their futures, seeing the hopelessness in our faces. The couple brought in a street performer for us. When the show started, our eyes lit up, as if someone had cast a spell to put smiles on our faces. After watching that show, I began to idolize street performers. So, when I came of age, I set out to become one myself.
Your juggling is impressive, but how do we get from street performer...
I'm self-taught and spent a long time practicing. Years later, after I had garnered some fame as a street performer, I happened to stumble across my father. He was in an alley, lying on his back. I could tell right away his wound was fatal. To this day, I still don't know if he recognized me beneath the clown makeup. He entrusted me with his cargo before breathing his last. Such is the fate of those who dwell within society's dark underbelly. As for his cargo, it appeared to be some sort of contraband. And I decided to fulfill his dying wish and delivered it for him. The recipient of the contraband turned out to be a back-alley doctor. However, the contraband itself was medicine to treat a spreading disease. I later heard that it was used to treat the kids who came to watch me perform. At that moment, I learned that people could still do good, even within society's underbelly. I also learned from the doctor and my father's journals that my family had influenced events throughout history. That's when I finally understood my father. And I could not stop crying.
Oh.
From then on, I set out to create a new legacy of the Tribaldo name.
You must be proud of your work.
I wouldn't go bragging to the world about this line of work. At the same time, if my work makes a difference, That's all right by me. Anyway, that's my story. Let's keep helping each other until...
Aha! There you are, Adol and Hummel.
Aw, Hummel's a big softie.
What are you guys doing up there? It's super suspicious.
Perhaps it's time to climb back down. Adol, let's keep helping each other until the end.
He ain't nothing but a big softie. 202, that should be perfect. Let's go find the big guy. I forget his name. Oh, I bet he's hanging out by Captain's grave. Then we'll make a little bit of progress in the final dungeon before the end of the day. Hello, big monkey. I didn't think he'd actually physically show up here. Okay. No, seriously, where is he? I can't remember Sir Carlin. Where's Sir Carlin? Oh well. His loss. We'll help Donna do her side quest. Maybe. Maybe not. But we are definitely finishing this next week.
Okay, we made it to the Great Tree. But now what?
I don't see the wardens anywhere.
Yeah, but they can teleport.
We've been expecting you, Adol. Please wait while the path to Octus opens.
Octus? I'd tell Donna, Jinx, you owe me a soda, but I don't think she's gonna ever give me that soda.
So bright!
Look.
That's a warp gate. I never imagined one would be inside the great tree.
Donna, what's a warp gate?
Adol, please step into the gate.
This seems perfectly safe. What? Octus Overlook. Yep, that's the warp. So this is Octus. You just learned about it. You can't be like, oh, this all makes sense. What a strange place. This feeling. So welcome to the Nexus of Time Travel. Oh, look who's come to greet us. Welcome to the Octus Overlook. This is a world within the Great Tree where we Wardens observe the world's evolution. Sarai. It's So the psyches that are captured by the Great Tree end up here? Yes, but they are not confined to a single location. Octus has 4 paths. Then why is it called Octus and not Quattrus? At the end of each path, there exists a giant crystal. Crystal? Is that where... Yes. That is where the psyches that have been captured by the Lacrimosa reside. By releasing them, the Tree of Psyches will grow. Let's go. Of course, releasing the psyches is easier said than done. Our words and deeds are all part of the almighty Lacrimosa. Should you fail, the crystal will be your headstone as your psyches are taken. As wardens, our duty is to observe what unfolds. We won't let that happen. Even if it's a long shot, we still have to go for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Do we pick which path to start with? No, there is a proper order. You must start with the ocean path.
The ocean path?
Yes, the entrance is over yonder. If you can conquer the ocean path, you will receive instructions from where to go next. I see. We better get going then. I think some of these wardens are maybe a little tired of it all. Very well, we shall take our leave of you, and that's why they're training us.
Good luck. You'll need it.
We will be watching. And we're not going to get yeeted. No. This is not time travel back to the beginning of the game. This is... Well, you'll see in just a moment, so... Because, there are 4 paths, and there are weird Gigarian monsters. There are 4 Wardens of Evolution who preceded us. Could it be a connection? I rolled. I think you can see where this is kind of going. In terms of, it's like... This dungeon's a little repetitive. Because it's basically platform to boss area, go to a crystal, boss area, boss arena, change of platform, fight some freaky enemies. But they do drop good resources, so... Because there's the crystal we're after. But we have several of these arenas to go through first. I think it's where the game developers were like, we have this concept art for all these monsters we wanted to use, and we just ran out of space to put them, so... Mini boss rush. Superion. I'll see about that. Funny, it looks more like a Lake Furion. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, that is a common theme in some video games. It's just like, well, rather than make it a hard level, we're just gonna throw a bunch of enemies at you at the very end. This isn't the first game, and it's not, certainly not the last. But I do enjoy the aesthetics of this final area. Like, it is sufficiently different from the rest of the game that it's... And the enemy design is so wildly different that it really does feel like, yeah, this is the ending. This is something big happening here. Okay, but at least this... So it's 3 boss arenas to a crystal. And within the lore, I think this makes sense because it's like, oh, these are the things that have been absorbed by the Lacrimosa. Oh no, I'm blinded. It's one of the weakest debuffs in the game because you can still see just fine. Because that vignette does not do enough to actually stop you from playing. Yeah, something other than copy-paste platforms, I agree. But that's where the crystals come in play. As you'll see in just a moment. Ulamart, I'm just going to ignore you. Path of the Ocean Era. You see, each of the crystals we're going to go to represents one of the eras from the past Wardens.
Where are we?
It's beautiful. Look how big the ocean is. So this is the ocean path. It's quite different from the ocean we're familiar with. Yes, it's almost like the primordial sea. Could this be the ocean of the past? I think so. I think the Lacrimosa is using the paths to recreate eras it has destroyed. Everyone, be on guard as we advance. Yep. We are now time traveling through the different eras. Which again, you get some fun different enemy design. It's like, oh, well, we don't have to keep it as dinosaurs or, you know, believable monsters. We'll just make it really weird. Yes, there is fishing here. Just in case you wanted more fish. Hey, Shauna Vision, good to see ya. Where's this treasure chest? How far underwater? Oh! I went too far. Ah! Dingo's fetid kidneys. I did it again. Hey, there's one of the pure orichalcums, so we can get... Oh, that reminds me. We never actually gave Adol the better armor. The Shining Chronos. That actually makes his strength somewhat worse. But I think everything else is worth it. Because it ups his crit. Ominous crystal. Beautiful crystal. I love the design of the filigree on it.
Now that is one big shiny rock.
This must be one of the crystals where the psyches have been sealed.
Yes, I sense a vast number of psyches within it.
Okay, Adol. Let's crack it open.
Are you sure that's wise? How do we
Do we
go
have another
about
plan?
releasing the psyches in the first place?
Oh, I'm sure some giant boss will resonate out of existence here. And
Just lit up.
What's going on?
is it boss o'clock? It's boss o'clock. Psyche, Hydra, Ardor of the Dawn, Lamenting Sage. I don't know what that means, but that's a great title.
Wait, isn't that...
Looks like that ward in Hydra to me.
I thought he said he was just observing us. Why is he getting in our way?
Be
I
on your
mean,
guard, everyone.
presumably the others of his species look like him, and it's a manifestation of the psyche's self-protecting the collective conscience. You know what? If I can fall down there, I am going to put on the water walking boots. Perhaps the chest will be... No! I knew exactly where the chest was the entire time. I just kept missing the platform around it. Oh, I can't walk on that water. Unfortunately, this is exactly why I give you mod status, F-Zero. Oh, whoops. Let's just go ahead and use one of these on Adol. And he can chug one of these. It's the final dungeon. There is no such thing as too good to use anymore. Well, you need to look under more microscopes then. I think we did it. The crystal. It seems we've successfully released the psyches. Huh? We did? Yay! They have one brain cell between the two of them, and it's adorable. I can feel it, Adol. The psyches were released are flowing into Saren Garden. Ah. How about the tree? Yes, the tree of psyches is growing. Let's keep this up as we visit the other paths.
I cannot believe you actually released the psyches.
Darn tootin', Hydra. We're not hailing you today.
Hydra.
You said you were just gonna watch. Why'd you interfere with us?
That was not I who attacked you.
It wasn't?
That was my own psyche, captured by the great tree as I succumbed to despair. It has been the guardian of this crystal for many years.
But now your psyche has been released.
So we're not just releasing the victims of the Lacrimosa, but the psyches of the wardens, too. All those psyches flowing into the tree greatly accelerated its growth. If that's the case, then perhaps...
During the era in which my people flourished, countless species that lived within our Mother Ocean were invited to the surface by the Earth Goddess. Thus began the world's evolution by the Great Tree of Origins.
The Earth Goddess?
Yes, she is known as Earth Goddess Maya. She vanished after sharing with me the truth of evolution. I have watched over the Earth ever since, but the situation unfolding now is unprecedented.
What's he talking about? Did this goddess really exist?
I don't know.
After all we've
Considering
seen.
the existence of a great tree, it's not as outlandish as it sounds.
I mean, I sort of think something like that could have happened a long time ago.
I will continue to observe you. Perhaps you will come to accept the Lacrimosa as we did. Or perhaps you will find a new path and escape the never-ending cycle.
Lightning? No. Oh. Look at that, we got one symbol in. Look. By making it through the path of the ocean era, we can move on to the next one. Let's keep this up and head to the next path. Next path. And that is actually the perfect place to call it for the day, having defeated the psyche of the warden and freeing. You know what? This game's weird, and I love it, but it's weird. But we are gonna finish this next week, even if we go a little into overtime next week. We are gonna finish this, fight the secret boss, do the real not the secret boss, but do the true boss. Get the true ending. We're going to finish this, wrap it up. It's going to be a blast. So looking forward to that. Tomorrow, we're starting our series for December on Retro Tuesday. I don't want to give it away right now, but I will say it's going to be full of some humongous entertainment, and it's going to take us to the moon first, and we're going to go under the ocean and then into the land of dreams. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then Thursday, we're starting Adam's Venture Origins, which is sort of a Christian Indiana Jones action game. Again, I'm very excited to play that. I think it's going to be really interesting. So thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Thank you to everyone who's joined the Discord. If you go over to the Discord in the general chat and you tell me what you want for Christmas, you're entered into a drawing for a Busted Halo 2023 Christmas ornament. We'll do that drawing on Thursday during stream. Can't think of anything else. Oh, this Wednesday, I forgot. This Wednesday evening, I will be a guest on Churro Expedition Company. So go check out Churro Expedition Co. We'll be playing Magic the Gathering Arena. So super excited about that since he came onto my stream for a bonus episode of Hearthstone. I'm joining him for Magic, so it should be a lot of fun. It's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain, 5:30 Pacific. And I think that's everything. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless.